I don't know whether Rockefellers did this or not. I just know that this is what I figured out in 2008, and you've seen it work in so many settings. This is essential for a trust. Anyone sat down and read their estate plan, word for word? How much fun was that, right? Like, it's legalese. It's legalese. There's nothing really inspiring about the standard legalese. It's required, it's necessary, but my first 39 pages of my trust were written by my wife and I, so it can be dynamic. It's our philosophies as signposts for future generations. It's actually what governs our trust, so that we're not saying, hey, at 30, 35, and 40, we're just sending the money off to them. No, it says they're entitled to $0, but if they want to do certain things, they can access the money in this trust, right? And those 39 pages are our family constitution. Think about the US. We have a 4,400-word constitution that changed the game. It was such a game changer that other nations now pretty much all have constitutions. It wasn't there to prevent freedom. It was there to preserve freedom. So I'm not telling them what to do. I'm just making sure that they're living a life of purpose. And as they do, I support that. And if they choose not to live a life of purpose, I'm not exacerbating the problem of them being entitled trust fund babies, right? So the family constitution, we actually did an event last August where people left with their own writing to govern their trust. Now, the way that it's really governed is the family constitution. I have a board of trustees of 5 people, not compensated while I'm alive. These 5 people are Rich Christensen, who I've now mentioned multiple times from the stage, given plenty of love to today. I'll have to let him know. He's got phenomenal books, Bootstrap Business, Zigzag Principle, Toes Turn Purple is the legacy book. Another guy is Ryan O'Shea, who's my investment advisor. Another guy is Del Clark, who's our financial quarterback for my wife and I, that is my co-author of my new book called Win Then Play, which will be the 3rd category we get to here in a minute. Another person is Mo. Mo just finished my premium finance deal. He's a brilliant financial mind, but he understands quality of life and health and family. And then finally, my brother-in-law, Derek, who epitomizes soul purpose and artistry, and this quality of life has always been at the core of who he is. So the reason I picked these 5 people is I'm saying, if I'm around, my job is to teach and transfer what I can to my kids. If I'm not around, who are the 5 people that have certain aspects of what are the qualities in me that could be there to be those qualities for future generations? That's the board of trustees. They are governed by looking at the family constitution and making choices in a dynamic way with my kids, rather than just having it be boilerplate. Now, in order to protect the trust, I add another dimension called the trust protector, which I felt like that was an Austin Powers line just now, you know? But yeah, the trust protector, very uniquely named. But the trust protector is an attorney, and they're kind of like a president that can just veto something, right? So if someone goes into my trust and they put risk into the capital of the trust, they can veto those allocations. Because I'm going to do the growth now, and I'm going to show you how we perpetuate the trust and grow it without having to risk it in crazy investments and ventures, okay? It's really elegant and simple, but once you get it, it's like, it just clicks. So the family constitution, everybody walked away with their own. I wrote mine in 2008. It was 52 pages because I was not as good of a writer then. Like, for those that have read Killing Sacred Cows versus What Would the Rockefellers Do, what I could say in 1 sentence, I choose to say in 2 throughout the entire damn book of Killing Sacred Cows. So for my people that critique me on it being long, I agree. When I read the thing for the audiobook, I started making fun of myself. I'm like, in case you didn't hear this on the last 5 minutes when I said it, let me say this shit again, you know? But maybe people listen to audiobooks like I do, where I get distracted for a minute and then I come back. So hopefully that's helpful. So now it's down to 39 pages. Like, it's our writing. And so whether or not there's money in the trust, which I plan there to be money in the trust, my great-great-great-grandkids could know who we are, what we stood for, and why this family exists. And you know what? For my great-grandfather, it was to survive. That's what, you know, and he made a bold move, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, he got to Ellis Island, and they changed his name because he couldn't speak English, and they didn't understand what he said. It was Iaquinta, they changed it to Aquino. Like, to honor him, I reclaimed my birthright in Italy, so I'm now a dual citizen. I go, and I went to the hometown, and we filmed it. Like I want to understand, like, this man sacrificed a lot, but you know what? It's time to shrug sacrifice. Sacrifice in a religious context means to make sacred. That's cool. But you know what? In every other context, it means to give something up. And in finance especially, sacrifice means not enjoying life now for one day someday. That's against everything Go Abundant stands for, right? I love that Benjamin Franklin said, wealth isn't just the man that has it, but the man that lives it. It's about your quality of life, living life along the way. And I think your legacy comes down to what makes it count for you. Where is the juice worth the squeeze, right? What do you want success to be to you? And money can be one benchmark, but if it's your only benchmark, life will suck, and here's why. You'll always find someone that makes more than you. You'll always find someone that has more than you. You'll always have a month that doesn't go according to plan. And your emotions will be triggered by your money, and that will be a miserable existence. But if money's a part of the equation, and the other part is what makes that count? Quality of life. Like for my wife and I, we 100% of the time want to have a flight on the books that we can look forward to. That's part of my success. Because when that's on there, we're already enjoying it before it even happens. She's here in Breckenridge. We're staying through Sunday. We've been excited about that. In February, right after Valentine's Day, we're going to Vegas for the weekend. We got a killer trip planned. We're already excited about it, right? Quality of life. To me, quality of life is the key. That's why I bought a cabin where I thought, it's probably overpriced, but what is the value of the memories? And I don't want to wait any longer because my son's 13. I want him to want to come back. I want him to have memories there and love it. And guess what? My dad bought him this game called Relative Insanity, written by Jeff Foxworthy, and he fell out of his chair laughing last time we played it. Like, that's awesome. We didn't do that kind of stuff if we weren't at the cabin. You know, we invented a business called Field of Battle when we were in Italy because every time we'd play hearts or cards or any of that kind of stuff, we'd say, you ready for the Field of Battle? So now we're going to have an obstacle course as a family. We can show up to parties or schools with Nerf guns, and then people can shoot each other on the Field of Battle because we used to do that when they were younger at a place called Dartside. It was our guys' night out every other week, right? So like, these are the things that can happen when you're intentional about this. So this is the philosophical framework of the family legacy ring. These three family pieces. You miss any one of those, it's this stool without a leg. It's going to tip over. Like these are the non-monetary assets. The family retreat and the family constitution, it helps pass on the non-monetary assets. There's human life value, which is you and all your characteristics and qualities and who you are as a human being, and people are the only assets, the only real assets. Even real estate is an asset. It's the person writing the check to buy it or rent it from you. People are the only assets, so that considers human life value. Property value is stored human life value, like money or chairs or technology. Like, yeah, it's important, but it's not as important as human life value. So I feel like estate planning overemphasizes the passing on of the money, not of the most valuable things that you've ever created and thought of that helped you to become who you are today.